Welcome one and all, my name is David Cantú and I hope you're having the best day. If you're not, at least you're not living in a sort of dystopian future where you're being forced to cram into a building with dozens of infected people for 8 hours every weekday in the middle of the greatest global pandemic in the modern world. Oh wait, well, in that case, welcome to the State of the U. On Monday, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill announced that it's going to back on its decision to operate under their hybrid plan. I guess expecting 30,000 young adults to return to college after 4 months of only playing Animal Crossing and hanging out with their parents and expecting them to social distance was not really a feasible plan. Who would have seen that one coming?
It's going to disappear one day. It's like a miracle.
An Oklahoma high school student knowingly went to school with coronavirus. And I truly cannot believe this. Truly, really, I am skeptical about this story. I mean, yeah, the coronavirus part I understand, but what type of backwards color-coding teenager willingly chooses to go to school? I mean, what happened to the good old days of faking a fever or accidentally missing the school bus?
Wait, oh no, I'm gonna get my ass whipped.
Ahead of her sentence hearing on Friday, Laughlin, also known as Becky from Full House, is said to be looking at 2 months in prison for the admission scandal she was found guilty of in May. And although the educator in me is truly furious about the whole situation, the reality TV fan in me thinks this is perfect timing for the new season of Big Brother, as she's the latest all-star to be kicked out from a Full House and get sent to the jury. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and see what's news. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has moved to remote learning after only 1 week of in-person hybrid classes. To put things into perspective, here's a list of things that lasted longer than UNC semester. Antonio Brown playing for the Patriots, Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, Old Time Bro at number 1, Joey and Rachel dating in Friends, binge watching all of Grey's Anatomy, and of course, Hanukkah. The decision was released on Monday after Chapel Hill officials reported 4 clusters of cases in the area. Although very serious news, some students took the opportunity to, and by the way, this is not a joke, create COVID-19 bingo with all the main residential spots in the area. Hey, no judgment here. With college football on the verge of being cancelled, you gotta do what you gotta do to take the edge off. UNC's latest weekly COVID dashboard update showed 135 new cases for a grand total of 324, and lists that there's only 4 available rooms in the quarantine dorm building remaining. Additionally, UNC's total positive rate went up from 2.8 to 13.6%, making this the highest jump in North Carolina since,
wait for it,
Michael Jordan. The university is receiving a lot of backlash all throughout the country for even asking students to come back in the first place. Many people worry that thousands of exposed students will now have to return to their families and potentially spread the virus to more vulnerable groups of people. Others refer to this as an immoral plan by the UNC school system to secure tuition revenue before inevitably going online for the foreseeable future. But I have to say my favorite and perhaps the most appropriate take I have seen was the one by the Daily Tar Heel, the university's newspaper, that released the following front page the day after the news hit. I know who saw that one coming. I know. An Oklahoma high school student knowingly went to school with coronavirus. As told by an anonymous tipster, the student had received a positive diagnosis before classes began, but felt no symptoms of the virus. Dawn Jones, Director of Communications and Community Relations for Moore Public Schools, explained that because the student was asymptomatic, she assumed that her quarantine only had to last 5 days rather than the 10 recommended by the CDC. Sorry, Dr. Fauci. Well, the student's parents told the school officials that they had misunderstood the information they received from physicians, officially turning the situation into the worst telephone game ever. To be fair, Moore Public Schools did give its 25,000 students the option to enroll in either distance learning, in-person classes, or a hybrid model consisting of the two. A CNN article explains some of the measures the county is taking. Some of these stating that masks are required for high school students while at school and on buses. And classrooms and bathrooms are cleaned daily. This is great. I fully support this, but it does make me wonder, how often were they cleaning the bathrooms beforehand? Several states like Mississippi and Georgia have reported positive cases from students after the first day of classes, which really makes me miss the good old days where the only thing you would catch at the lunch table was a good old roast.
That's against the rules, and you can't sit with us.
There was just something about being called Two-Tape Dave and having to quietly drink my carton of chocolate milk, pretending that my feelings weren't hurt.
You can't sit with us!
Finally, federal prosecutors are requesting that actress Laughlin is sentenced to 2 months in prison and her fashion designer husband, Massimo Giannulli, be sentenced to 5 months for their roles in the college admissions scandal. Laughlin and Giannulli pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges in May after paying $500,000 to get their daughters into the University of Southern California. Tuition isn't even that expensive. The part that gets me from this whole story is that their daughters got admitted as recruits for the rowing team. Yeah, the rowing team. In order to pull off the scam, Olivia J. Giannulli created a fake athletic profile which listed her as the winner of 2 gold medals in the San Diego Classic Crew competition, and it also said that she participated in Boston Head of the Charles Regatta. Obviously, these accolades and events did not happen, turning rowing into the official "I promise I have a girlfriend, she just lived in Canada" of sports.
She lives in Canada. Met her at Niagara Falls.
New reports also talk about how Giannulli and Laughlin spoke with their young daughter about how to deal with a high school counselor who was skeptical of her crew resume, citing that Giannulli went as far as referring to the school counselor as a nosy bastard.
What a bunch of bastards.
And I don't understand how one can call a high school counselor a nosy bastard for inquiring about a student's college application. That's like going to get a massage and telling the masseuse that she's a touchy freak.
Oh boy.
But if you think that all these news are wild, you have to see what's coming up next, or else you won't believe it. Yep, you saw that right. From slip and slides in the rain to large crowded parties, college students are kicking off a 2020 school year with a bang. The first video came from the Hinton James Dormitorium at Chapel Hill, and it took place the first Saturday of the semester. The second video is from the University of North Georgia, and it has been reported to have been taken place at an off-campus private complex. As we mentioned earlier, some universities have begun acting on the situation by threatening students who engage in these behaviors with expulsion or by reverting to all online classes. However, other institutions are unwaveringly committed to keep students around for as long as possible.
You know, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens.
Reports like these are emerging all across the country, and unfortunately, these remarkable displays of selfishness do not seem to be coming to an end anytime soon. However, we must not lose hope as this pandemic is a marathon and not a sprint. Support one another and be kind to yourself. After all, we're all in this together. This has been the State of the U. Hey, if you like this video and want to keep up with everything regarding college and education, do yourself and us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like it and feel free to check out some of our other videos. As always, please let us know if you have any questions.